Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Amish Shah, President of ALTR, to discuss jewelry trends for holiday 2020 and outlook for the industry moving forward. Amish, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Nice to see you too. Thank you, Jill.
Let's talk about COVID-19 and the impact to the industry for 2020 and, of course, holiday 2020.
I think the retail industry, especially in the jewelry, has seen a roller coaster. You know, what started as a good year saw softening in of course, the summer. The sales were very rough. But I think the most important change that we see is digitization and the omnichannel effect. The third quarter of sales for retailers was very strong. You know, a lot of them covered up for the sales for the second quarter because the ones who are going to get engaged are going to get engaged. So there was a strong third quarter going into the fourth quarter. But I think the biggest shift you're seeing is that I think retail will have almost flat numbers on the jewelry industry segment, the ones that did good. Retailers that were not omnichannel set up with any digital platforms to communicate with their customers or couldn't do virtual appointments are going to see an impact. So from a transaction point, the consumer is still buying jewelry. Jewelry has, when we think about it, the three main items that did amazing during this period, while it was tough: home improvement, personal gifts, and education and edutainment, because people were home, with families and that. So I think that has really helped the category, but it's primarily about were you digitally savvy as a company or not. One other side I would like to add is a shift in the product. When you look at going from 19 into 20, while people would have expected, with a tough year, people would have spent less on diamonds or fine jewelry, what we're seeing is a very interesting, bigger tickets have sold very well. People, they cancel their vacations, they're not going out as much. So disposable net income, including the stimulus that came in for people at all different segments of work, had higher money to spend. So we have seen people buy larger, more beautiful diamonds and finer jewelry. So that's actually a very interesting impact we're seeing.
Yeah, it really is interesting. And when you look across the luxury segment in general, because people haven't spent thousands of dollars in going out and traveling and so forth, they're buying those bigger ticket items, especially luxury vehicles, which I thought was really interesting as well. So going back to jewelry, what are some of the trends that you're watching for holiday 2020?
I think for holiday 2020, what we're seeing is gifting is a very strong part of purchases this year. Almost a third of consumers are looking forward gifts from online. So that was a very interesting trend. Usually there's a lot of in-person gifting. This time the Amazon gifting or gift by mail is a much bigger item. The spending on the gifts, I think, will be consistent, but personal gifts, dollar spent has gone high. When we look at jewelry, once again, people who were looking to propose, you're going to see the Christmas Eve proposals. While they're not going out, but a lot of them have realized about living together, which we've seen a lot more during the months where people were home. From a product perspective, I again see larger diamonds actually have been trended up. A third of searches on lab-grown diamond and sales for this year, almost a little over 31%, were 2 carat plus diamonds, which gives a very strong indication that the larger diamond still holds a very strong value for her.
It certainly does. And when we look into 2021, do you think that we'll continue to see this increase in demand? Because, a lot of weddings and special events were put on hold this year. So it could be interesting. It could be, mad dash for a lot of brides this year.
Yeah, I think going into next year, I still see 21 as a challenging year overall. I think the companies that are in any category, especially in the jewelry, need to evolve further. When I look at it from the consumer end, let's see how the markets play, how the government shift. We're going to have a major shift in the first quarter of the year. Vaccine's under a strong conversation as to how it plays a role. But when I look at spending from the consumer, and when I look at especially from the lab-grown category, we see a major shift because 80% of people, which is almost 50% higher than the previous years, now have heard about lab grown. And there is a 40% increase in consumers' purchasing lab grown diamonds. They also have 52% of retailers find that engagement and wedding category It was their prime sales, the stores that actually carried it. And better margins have actually helped them survive through a tough year like this. So you're going to see that the trend of created diamonds or lab-grown diamonds is still a long way to go. We're between $1 billion and $2 billion as a category, but in the next 5 years, we're going to be 5 billion. So it is a natural cause of what's going to happen is the growth.
Yeah, and I think you make an excellent point there because, Amish, at the end of the day, especially younger generation, they are really focused on values-based investing, values-based consumership, and how they purchase products. So they do want lab grown for the quality, for the technology behind it. We'll get that in a second. But also, when you look at recycled materials, a lot of consumers want to know that their products have been ethically sourced, that the best technology has gone into it, and it's environmentally friendly and sustainable. And that's really important for younger consumers these days. So let's talk a bit about ALTR technology and what makes your process really stand out from the rest of the industry.
I think something that you just said is the most important thing. We are dealing today with a socially conscious consumer, irrespective of the type of products or experiences they consume. One of the strongest parts about ALTR is we're the only vertically aligned company in the world. We grow our own seeds. We grow our diamonds. We cut and polish the diamonds with automatic robotic polishing. We design jewelry. We manufacture jewelry with 100% recycled gold and bring it to the stores that further deliver to consumer. This level of transparency is what the consumer is asking for today. Along with that, it's the certification that we offer our consumers that gives guaranteed grading. There's skepticism for the consumer about where did the diamond come from? How was it sourced? Do I know what I'm being told is exactly what it is? And this is what ALTR stands for. We brought a shift to the diamond industry, and it was a major move for the industry to change to the future of diamonds. But today, our core focus, which is why the consumer has strong attraction towards us, is offering them transparency and authenticity. And I believe that that's the core of who we are and how we stand out.
All right, Amish, great to see you as always. Thanks so much for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you so much, Jill.